All right, how you doing, YouTube? This morning we're going to be talking about the song Man in the Wilderness off the Styx Grand Illusion album around 1977. As before, I'm going to play a little of the song and show you how to play each of the parts on acoustic guitar, and should have a good time here. So let me first go ahead and start out playing the song, and then we'll talk about it.
I look at myself and cry, what kind of man have I become? All of the years I spent been searching myself, and I'm still in the dark as I seem to find the light alone. Sometimes I feel like a man. I'm a lonely soldier of the war, sent away to die, never quite knowing why. Sometimes it makes no sense at all.
Okay, give you a little bit of a snippet about how to play that song. First of all, the guitar's in standard tuning, no issues there. Got a little bit of reverb on the guitar amp. Now the lead to this song, the intro lead, is done with an electric guitar, but on an acoustic guitar you can sort of get that same feel, and there's some signature riff sounds that you can get by simply playing the correct chords. The intro starts out on an E minor, and then it goes to a little riff here that I play as a substitute for a D chord. Whoops. So it's... Then you go to a C chord, A minor to a B minor, same thing, E minor, a C, okay, and then it's going to end, you play that a couple of times, then it's going to end on an E minor. It'll end on an A suspended second. I'm going to give you that suspended sound that leads into the first verse. So let me go ahead and play the intro again, and then we'll get into the verse itself. Okay, now the first verse, it starts out on an E minor. Another year to a D has passed me by, to an A minor. Still and then you go to an A suspended second. Still I look to myself and cry, what kind of man have I become? All the years I've spent. So it goes E minor to a D to an A minor to a B minor. So E minor passed me by, to an A minor, to an A suspended second, to an E minor. E minor to a D, I become. again, all these years I've spent in search of myself, to an A minor, and it's still in the dark, 'cause I can't seem to find my light alone, to an A minor. Okay? And you use that B minor sort of in a real quick transition chord. So, what kind of man have I become? All these years I've spent. So you just got to remember to play that B minor in that manner. Next you go into the chorus part of the song, which is essentially starts on an E minor. Sometimes I feel, to a D, like a man, to a C, in the will, to an A minor, to a B minor. I'm a lonely soldier, to a D, E minor to a D, off to war, to a C, A minor, B minor, E minor, sent away to die, to a D, to a C, never quite knowing why. Now, you got to do this in a transition. So, sent away to die, never quite know, to a B minor, knowing why, to an A suspended second. And then you can do a quick B suspended second here on the second fret. The first finger here is on the second fret of the A string, and then these two fingers on the fourth fret of the D string and the G string. So it's sometimes it makes no sense, to a D at all. So it's B suspended second, to a C suspended second, to a D, to an E minor. So let me play that and get the sense of the way how that sounds. Sent away to die, never quite knowing why. Kind of pick at it, build tension. Sometimes it makes no sense at all. Okay, so after you play the chorus, you're going to go through and play the intro again. The same chords as before: E minor, D, C, A minor, and B minor. Play that a couple times, and then you're going to end again on A suspended second. Build that tension for the next chorus, or for the next verse. Then you go into the next verse. 10,000 people look my way, but they can't see the way that I feel. Nobody cares to even try. B minor, spend my life. Okay, so you play the next verse with the same chords as before. The next chorus got a slightly different words. Chords are exactly the same. Sometimes I feel, to a D, like a man in the wilderness. I'm a lonely sailor lost at sea. Okay? You're going to do that whole tension thing again. The last line. Sometimes it makes no sense at all. Okay? Now, this is when you start the bridge now. Okay, after you play that last line, sometimes it makes no sense at all. And then it's going to go into the bridge, which is a E minor to a G to a suspended second. I'm alive, looking for love. I'm a man with emotion. Heart's on fire, dying of thirst in the middle of the ocean. I'm alive. solo comes in over those same chords. So it's E minor to a G to an A suspended second. And you're going to do that about 10 times. Then it's going to slow back down again. So that's an E minor to a D, to a C, back to a D, to an E minor, to a D, to a C, to a B suspended second. And then you're going to go back into the final chorus of the song. Sometimes I feel like a man in the wilderness. E minor, D, C, A minor, B minor, just like the other chorus. Sent away to die, never quite knowing why. A suspended second. Sometimes it makes no sense. And then you're going to go back and you're just going to repeat this line off the C suspended second. Sometimes it makes no sense. Third time, it makes no sense at all. Okay, let me go ahead and play the last part of that again. So, so you hear how that that goes into the final outro, really an outro chorus, I guess. So let me play the last line, and then we'll jump into that again. Sometimes it makes no sense at all. Alive, looking for love, I'm a man with emotion. Heart's on fire, dying of thirst in the middle of the ocean. E minor, G to an A suspended second. Same thing. Repeat that 10 times, and then back to the slow. To a D, to a C. To a D, to a C. And then you build tension on a B. Sometimes I feel like a man in the wilderness. I'm a lonely soldier off to war. Then you just continue through that, building tension all the way to the very last. And again, the signature part of the outro is sometimes it makes no sense. Sometimes it makes no sense. Sometimes it makes no sense at all. Okay, so that's how you play Man in the Wilderness by Styx on acoustic guitar. There's a lot of good leads in there too. If you had a second acoustic guitar player, you could play some of the leads in E pentatonic over the solo sections. Would be great. But hopefully that helped you to understand how to play this song. And as always, if you have any questions about this song or any of the other videos I put on, tabs or whatever, just leave me a comment or or a question at my YouTube channel. So as always, have a great day, and I'll catch you later.